Hey everyone, quite a different video today. I've never done something like this before. I'm quite nervous. So I think I was about 10 or 11 when I started writing in a diary. These are my two from when I was a teenager. As you can see, this one especially is very full. I had this one while I was going through secondary school. There's a lot in here. I'm not going to go through every page, obviously. You might be wondering why I'm choosing to share some of my diary with you. Obviously, I feel like if I didn't have pandas, then I wouldn't be, because it is so personal and so private. But everything in here was a symptom of my pandas and we had no idea. And I'm quite nervous. I haven't looked inside these diaries in a long time, but I do remember that I wrote in here when I was going through some of the worst times of my life. And so I thought I'd just show you what it's like inside the mind of a teenager with undiagnosed brain inflammation. My panda's onset was when I was about 14 at school. So I was in year 9, year 10. Yeah, my onset was when I was 14, but I didn't actually get diagnosed until I was 22 years old. So there was a long time of being undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, and there's a lot in here which I think is gonna make me quite emotional. So, you know, be prepared. This isn't going to be a light-hearted video. It is going to be quite heavy, but I'm doing this purely for awareness because I am a huge pandas advocate now, and it's something that I love doing, even though it can be really tough at times. But I just think this could be super educational and eye-opening. So let's get into it. This is the first one, and then this is the one that was done a bit later on. Look how thick this is. Okay. Brace myself. So the first one is from 2015. It starts off not too heavy. Look, these are my Ollie Murs tickets from when I went in 2015. That was actually such a good night. So Tuesday, 23rd of June 2015, and I wrote this one at 20 to 6 in the morning. An awful lot has happened since I last wrote, and it's not the best news. I know it's not even 6 o'clock in the morning, but I'll tell you why I can't sleep later. I can't really read the rest of this out because it is a bit graphic. Anyway, I'm not at school again today. I say again because I wasn't in yesterday either. I've got shingles. It's a bit like chickenpox, but more painful and itchy. They're hard to sleep on and really uncomfortable, which is why I'm awake so early. Pandas and stuff is triggered by different infections, and I did have a lot of health issues and a lot of infections and stuff growing up. I feel like it starts off okay and then it just gets like worse and worse as it goes on. Monday, 7th of September 2015. I went back to school on Thursday. It's awful. I massively struggled at school due to, well, at the time was pandas, but we didn't know that. So basically I'm in year 11 now, and for the whole of year 10, especially the past 4 or 5 months, I have felt shit. I mean, 4 months ago, I got myself so stressed and in such a mess that I got migraines and shingles from stress, and since then I've been awful. It's mostly school's fault. I feel like crap when I'm there. On Friday, my head of year pulled me over and spoke to me. So now I'm being pulled out of lessons to have meetings with him. I'm sick of it all. All my thoughts are just so negative at the minute. It's actually so weird, like, reading this and knowing that, you know, younger me wrote all of this. I know that's like obvious, but it is like quite weird to think about. 14th of September 2015. My head of year spoke to me again this morning at school. I told him I was doing okay. I am not doing okay. So essentially the stuff that I can't read out that is quite graphic is anything to do with farming. Obviously it's very triggering and very upsetting, but it is really common in people that have pandas pans, and it's usually happens before they get diagnosed and they don't know what's wrong with them. Sometimes it can be linked to OCD, which is a huge pandas pans symptom. So that's the stuff that I'm not reading out. 9th of October 2015. In bullet points, I felt shit, nobody likes me, close to giving up. However, I now have 2 hedgehogs. When we were fostering hedgehogs for a little while in 2015. Wow, a lot of this is like so graphic. I don't think I realised how graphic it is. Oh, okay, this is still the 9th of October 2015. I wrote some bullet points on a little note of how I've been feeling. Doesn't want to do anything, daydreamy, always tired, always sad. I never do any work in class anymore. Doesn't want to be around friends, feel like crying all the time. I mean, all of those, they're like, I know it's a lot, people with depression have all those symptoms, but all of my depression symptoms were because of brain inflammation and nobody knew. 20th of October. I still feel the same. I'm on a lot of medication, but it doesn't seem to have any effect yet. I had a huge meltdown on Friday as soon as I got to school. That was the day that I had a panic attack. I sat on a table outside the assembly hall. I had my head in my hands, so my head of year came over. Having a bad day, he asked me. I nodded my head and started crying. He took me to his office. So that was my Friday, not doing so good. First CAMS appointment tomorrow at 8:30. 4th of December 2015. Sorry, finding the energy and motivation to write is hard. Recently I've had a black eye and another one on the way. I don't know if I can read this out, this is quite graphic as well. Oh, okay. So this is the first time in my diary where I admit to feeling suicidal for the first time. But this is when my pandas was causing mostly psychiatric symptoms, because that is such a huge part of it, of pandas and pans. It is so weird reading this, I feel like I want to cry. This is when I wrote some stuff while I was sat in the library. I do remember this actually. 7th of December 2015. It's currently 11:08 and I'm at school, unfortunately, in brackets. I am meant to be in PE for 2 hours, but I'm in the library. I'm doing my mock exam at the minute in art and it's going terribly wrong. All of my friends are doing great at school and I'm really struggling, but they don't know that. I'm glad I'm missing PE because I really hate it. I'm considering leaving gymnastics because I feel like I don't really fit in with anyone anymore. At school I feel pretty much the same. I feel intimidated when people stare at me because of my bruised face, and even when my face isn't bruised, I don't fit in with anyone because they're all smarter than me. Sometimes when I smile, it doesn't mean that I'm fine. My panic attacks are improving and the last one I had was 2 or 3 weeks ago, so at least something is getting better. There is quite a bit that I'm not reading out. Just because it's a bit too much for a YouTube video. It's now 1:48 PM on the 7th of December, so this is on the same day. It's just been lunchtime, but I still had lunch as usual. That was to do with Panda's food restriction, but I didn't know why at the time. I would be in physics right now, but I'm currently in the library again. I feel like I may as well be invisible. People never listen to me. I just annoy them with my company. I wish I could just vanish. Aww. This is heartbreaking. At lunch today, everyone was laughing and enjoying themselves, and I tried my best to join in the fun. At silly times like this, I start to question my existence. It sounds stupid, but why am I here? I'm not happy. I don't make others happy. I try to join their conversations and make myself heard, but I can't find the confidence or motivation to speak for myself. Look at me now, working in the library because I can't get bad thoughts out my head. Waking up and thinking about it all day. I need new bandanas as I only have 2, and I wear them every day because I have to cover my bald patches. Yeah, my hair started falling out on the sides of my head, and another spot, I think it was at the back, when I was at school. It doesn't do it anymore, thankfully. 24th of December, Christmas Eve. So much has happened. My head of year found out that I was suicidal. He brought mum into school and sent me home, and also told me not to come to school all of next week. So instead I did work experience at my mum's primary school where she's a teaching assistant, and that is where I met Naomi. As you can probably tell, this was a extremely dark time in my life, and as I've said, Panda's pans can massively cause what looks like a psychiatric condition, but it's not. It's all because of the inflammation in the brain. And I am not joking when I say that meeting Naomi at that exact time literally saved my life. That is not an exaggeration. And then I just ramble on about how amazing she is for a couple pages. 2nd of January 2016. In terms of mental health, I haven't been the best recently. Every time a friend sends me a message and I'm about to reply, a voice in my head says, "They don't care." This voice seems to affect everything I do. 7th of January 2016. This was quite a big day for me, quite a big week. I have some very big news. I went back to school on Tuesday after being off for a week before the holidays, and, well, it hasn't been great. I was in yesterday too, but little did I know that yesterday was my last day. Last night I was in tears for hours with my mum because I couldn't cope at school anymore. It was horrible. Mum cried too. So this morning I went to have my head of year with mum and he agreed on homeschooling. So I finally left school, but I'm going to miss everyone so much, although I know they won't miss me. And a couple days later I wrote a short but graphic entry, so it seems like things are just getting worse. More depressing stuff. 17th of April 2016. I feel like the only thing keeping me here is my 5-year-old best friend Naomi. Monday, 18th of April 2016. I thought it might help if I wrote how I feel properly. I just wish I was like everyone else. I just wish I could walk into a room to do something without panicking, or get the bus, or hang out with friends. I just want to be happy. I wish I wasn't a burden to everyone around me. I hate not being able to do things that my friends can do. I'm sorry that I'm so quiet, I'm just really like overwhelmed. A lot of this which I'm not showing you is like really quite upsetting. And then some of it is about me finding a college to go to, and I was so happy because I thought I'd found the most perfect place. Sunday, 10th of July 2016. I feel lost and a burden. I want to run away. I'm on the last page of this diary. I'm hoping for a new one on my birthday, which is in 12 days. I don't feel like it is worth celebrating my 16th. That is the joys of that notebook. I feel like I should burn it or something, but I just can't bring myself to do it. I'm so sorry. I knew this video was going to be like a little bit dark, but I literally have no idea what to say to you guys. And it's so hard hitting. I suppose it just upsets me thinking about all those years where I didn't know why I felt like this, I didn't know what was wrong with me, and all those years where like my brain inflammation was just allowed to get worse and worse and worse. And I was told for years that everything was normal, all my results were normal, when all that was needed was one big blood panel and they would have found everything. I just feel sad for little Evie. Anyways, onto this one, which is when I'm a little bit older. Okay, this one is crazy actually. This has nothing to do with being anything really depressing or anything, so thank God for that. This is a note from when I was actually at college, and I mean, we've kind of skipped a few chapters, but it's just shoved in the front. So when I was at college, I ended up going up to one-to-one support because I needed to have someone with me at all times when I was 16 and 17, and also 18 at college. But my one-to-one and my mum would write notes to each other about how I've been in the day, how I was over the weekend, etc. Hi Sam, Evie has updated, Sam is my mum. Evie has updated me about GP appointment and the diagnosis. I'm not sure what the diagnosis was at that time. Definitely wasn't pandas. I have noticed today an extra tick. Evie's right arm hits her chest with a clenched fist. We have spoke about this and she said it just started and you didn't know about it. That's from my one-to-one written to my mum. I really don't know what that diagnosis would have been. I can't think. Because I wasn't even misdiagnosed with FND until 2019 or 18, and this will have been earlier on, so I really don't know what that was. Like 2016, 17 and 18, they would have spells where they got worse, so this must have been when I was getting a few new tics. More rambling about how amazing Naomi is. As you can tell, I thought very highly of her, and I still do. I genuinely wouldn't have gotten through that time without her, I don't think. Would have been so different. Oh, this little feather's fallen out. I think I picked this up in Scotland actually. This is heartbreaking. 27th of July 2016. I'm currently waiting for Naomi and Yasmin to arrive. We have turned the dining room into a playroom. It looks so cute. I love that. I can't remember that at all. I had a CAMS appointment with my counsellor. He finally knows about the suicidal thoughts. I'm so pissed at myself because nothing in my life is bad except I am in it. This was about my day with Naomi, playing on the trampoline and stuff. 28th of July 2016. I should probably point out before I read this one that actually running away is actually quite common, unfortunately, in especially children with PANS. I'm not exactly sure the science behind it, but essentially our brain is just so inflamed that quite often when I was like a teenager, I didn't really know right from wrong anymore, and I had no boundaries, I had no care for myself. For me, it was almost like an OCD compulsion. I got the thought in my head, and so I had to carry out the compulsion, otherwise it was just a thought in my head that I couldn't get rid of. Running away seems like a great option right now. I've been considering it for a while, but never mentioned it. It's a horrific symptom for the family to go through, and it's so scary. I ended up running away twice when I was a teenager, once in 2016, and once in 2017, and it is just horrific. I was barely even aware of my surroundings the second time. I was just so out of it and unwell. And looking back at it, it is just crazy how much everything falls into place. Now that I have the diagnosis of PANDAS and I have the diagnosis of brain inflammation, everything over the past like 9 years just clicked into place, and it was mind-blowing. It was so overwhelming at first. After the first time that I ran away, I was classed as a flight risk at college, and that's why I was on one-to-one originally. And then the seizures started. I was even more, couldn't be on my own, you know? 30th of July 2016. I'm not going to read it out because it's not very nice, but I'm just talking more about running away and how the thought is just like really obsessive in my mind. 5th of August, super excited because we're going to Scotland. Scotland has a very special place in this family. And it sounds like from my diary that going to Scotland was really beneficial for me at this time. I've written loads about what we did, the ice cream that we had. There's a little Scottish thistle from one of the beaches, which is quite cute. It's quite nice to see something a bit lighter, to be honest. More ice cream. And then it goes downhill again, and I feel like I'm going to end up crying again. 19th of August 2016. I think one of the hardest things for me to do is separate dreams from reality. My dream is not to grow up and be successful. My dream is to run away and never be found. I could do what I want and get what I deserve because I do not deserve what I have. I deserve much worse. I just can't believe like how sick I was. I don't understand a lot of things, but the one thing I cannot figure out is myself and how other people's lives are so much worse, yet nothing is wrong with mine, and I do not want to be here. It makes me so mad and I don't get it. Waking up with the same guilt every day. See, I felt so guilty for not knowing what was wrong with me, and my brain was literally inflamed. It just breaks my heart that I had to go years and years of this. Still got quite a bit left. Don't know if I can do it. This was about my GCSE results. I got a B in religion, a B in English, a C in English, a D in all 3 sciences, and an E in maths. But actually, being shit at maths is like another really big PANDAS symptom. And I said underneath, I guess I can't complain too much considering what I've been through. 17th of September. I've now survived 2 whole weeks at a brand new college. I'm in the special needs unit because I cannot go into a normal classroom environment. But college is very overwhelming. The new people, smells, sounds. I have sort of found a way to help. If I count things, it makes me feel as though I know the new environment better. I can't explain it. That was actually a huge OCD thing for me at the time, where when I was in a room at college, like only the first few months that I was there, it did calm down eventually, but I had a notebook like this, and I would write down how many people were in the room, how many windows, and it was like really obsessive and very OCD. Again, PANDAS. I'm terrible at making friends because I never speak. I also had selective mutism at this time, also due to PANDAS. I'm just thinking about whether I can read this one out or not. I actually took this with me when I ran away the first time, and I wrote in it while I was out there, but I'm just not sure if I can. When I tell you that PANS is such a horrific and dark disease, I can't even like emphasize that enough or even help people imagine that. 18th of December 2016. I'm not sure where I am, but I've been walking for over 45 minutes. My knuckles hurt so much on my left hand because I'm not sure where to spend the night. I like it when no cars go past. It's like the world is empty except me. And then the next entry is obviously I was back at home. So when I got home, the police were there, and he actually thought that I was high, that I'd taken something because of the way that my eyes looked. and the way that I was acting. I wasn't, and I hadn't taken anything. I was just in a panda state. I'm honestly not sure if I can read much more of this because it only gets worse and worse from here, and I don't really know if I can read the rest of this. So like if I show you my entries, just kind of changed to this. I started experiencing derealization disorder. I've done a whole nother video on that. That was a massive time for me, and it's another panda symptom. And so my diary entries sort of change into me not knowing who I am, where I am, who my family is, and it's really scary. I'll only read a few more so that you can kind of get how bad it was and how much pandas can really affect someone when it gets to the severity of this. But then I think I'm gonna stop. 6th of February 2017. I'm so scared, I don't know what to do. I'm so scared, I don't know where I am. Where is Evie gone? Who am I? Please, what do I do? 13th of April 2017. I feel like I've replaced Evie and I've been trapped into her life where I don't recognise family or friends, and it's so lonely. I'm struggling. What's the matter? It's just heartbreaking.
Oh, darling. It is heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking.
We got through it.
We got through it because we're strong. And we were together.
It's just horrible seeing how lost I was.
You were. It was scary.
Hey, I've got my panda with me for comfort. I thought I was ready to film again, but I feel like I'm going to stop crying. I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to read any more because it was too difficult. And the rest is just super horrific anyways. And I am going to spend, a little while debating on whether I post any of this, because I had the idea last night and I thought that is really good. That's really going to open people's eyes, and it's going to be so good for education and like possibly the early signs of pandas pans. But I didn't kind of realise until I would look through those pages how difficult it was going to be. This video hasn't been what I've wanted it to be at all, and I'm sorry for being a bit of a mess. As you guys know, I've been through a lot in the past 9 years since my panda's onset. There's been more symptoms than I can even count, and things that as a family we shouldn't have gone through, and my parents shouldn't have been put through that either. And I'm not blaming myself because I know that it's not my fault for what we all went through as a family. I'm hoping that I do find the courage to post this because I do think it could be really helpful and educational for some people. Obviously it's not a nice thing to watch or listen to, but it's just the reality of pandas, and there's no sugarcoating it. It's not nice. It is truly horrific, and that doesn't even describe it well enough. I know I'm gonna get flooded with love in the comments, so I'm gonna thank you in advance. Mentally, I have come a long way since the version of Evie in those books. Physically, I still have a long way to go. I don't have any limbs that are functioning well at the minute, and obviously seizures are still a big part of my life, and I do still have mental health struggles because of my pandas, but nothing like I did back then, and I'm so grateful to not be in that headspace anymore. Still got a long way to go, still got more treatment to go, as you guys know, having treatment in Poland. In terms of where we're at with that, I'm having blood results coming in every day. It's extremely overwhelming, and I've been very anxious about it. There's been a lot of red flags in the blood results. It's probably why I'm quite emotional, because I've been really anxious the past week. and I think this was just like a little bit of a trigger to set me off. But honestly, I am okay. You know, I'm not that Evie anymore. I'm grown up, and I use my experiences to share it with the world and try my best to help people, help teenagers and children with PANS that were just like me and didn't know what was going on with them, that thought they were going insane. So thank you for watching. Seems a bit weird to say that on a video like this, but I will see you guys soon.